for Miss News Colombia, we have the opportunity to speak with Stephen Brobst, Teradata executive, one of the top 4 in-state CTOs. Would you please tell about why your dreams is reports gets away in the corporations?
Well, I think my main point here is that organizations spend too much time reporting and not enough time taking action. So my dream is that we replace reports with actionable alerts and we get the information to the decision makers and the action takers faster.
Faster. That's fast and cheap. That's the innovation that you said?
Well, innovation is about actually failing fast and cheap, which is a slightly different discussion, right? So that discussion is how do we get an environment where we can do data R&D and experiment with data and find new patterns and new relationships in the data and run experiments. And most of those experiments will fail, but when you find the successes, those successes can be very, very big. So innovation, and I'm really borrowing from Jack Welch here, innovation is about failing fast and cheap. For each failure, you learn something, and that brings you closer to the success. And so failure is fast and cheap, so that the value of the success is far more than the cost of the failures.
So, and you have some important highlights. How important is the time? How important is the time for decision? And why we must get some alerts in a very well information manager? Can you talk
decision
about
making
that?
Has to be fast because the value of the decision often decreases when the time goes longer, because if you wait too long to make the decision, you may have missed the opportunity. And in many businesses, you'll see an exponential decay. So if you can make the decision within a few minutes, it has a very high value. If you make the decision within an hour, it has less value, but still some value. If you wait a week, then the decision is already irrelevant. So depending on the business process that you're trying to support, it's important that you align the data freshness service levels and the decision-making timelines to your business process.
Well, some people feel that needs that kind of interaction below the line. So what about that? Because it's important or is not the real stuff?
Well, I think understanding the interactions below the level of the transactions is extremely important, because that's how you understand the behavior of your customer. If you have the transactions, then you understand what they bought, you understand the value of the customer, but I think it's important to also understand the behavior of the customer so you can serve them better products, better services, by better understanding of their behaviors.
In the presentation, you explained some example that the code was open. What means in order to show the real stuff, the real information, easily and fresh and in time, than all the big stuff of enormous information?
Well, I think the key point is that we need to focus not just on collecting the data, but making that data available for decision makers. So we need to integrate the data, and we need to provide access to the data without being a technical skill set required. So as a business knowledge worker, a decision maker in my organization, I should have access to the data to make good decisions, and that data should be of high quality, and it should be available in a timely manner to drive better actions for my enterprise.
And finally, this was very, very interesting. After your studies in MIT and Harvard, you're now in Silicon Valley, in San Francisco, around right, Silicon Valley. But what the language next to the English in Silicon Valley? Or in California?
Actually, I grew up in Silicon Valley. So I grew up in Silicon Valley, and then I went back east for my graduate studies in Boston, and then I came back to Silicon Valley. But in California, to the point of your question, Spanish is the most spoken language in California, and then English is the second language.
All right. That's very, very interesting, all your comments. And we appreciate your time, and our readers will do. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, and congratulations, because you are one of the top CTOs in the world. I mean, the one of top in States.
Thank you.
It's very pleasant to us. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.